everyone, and welcome to Mystic Moonstone's weekly angel card reading. Yes, we have it this week. The colds have departed the house. Okay, let's have a look and see what the cards have in store for us for this reading, which covers from the 13th of January through to the 19th. I nearly said 16th then. All over the place at the moment. I'm using my Tony Command cards, my Archangel cards, and I'm also using the Sacred Rebel cards because I like a bit of rebel. Okay, let's have a look and see what the cards have in store for us this week. First card we have is Archangel Uriel, and it's the Alchemy card, which is near on impossible for me to read from one card. Archangel Uriel is known as the light of God. When he comes in, he kind of shines that light, especially if you find yourself in a little bit of a dark place. Maybe you're feeling a little bit lost, maybe you're feeling like nothing's kind of going your way, then suddenly, you know, there's that shaft of light comes from somewhere, maybe answers come in. He's the angel of knowledge and wisdom, so it may be applying knowledge that you already have, wisdom that you already possess. But the Alchemy card is really about taking something that's maybe not ideal, maybe not what you would have planned, and turning it into solid gold, just like the alchemists of old would take the base metals and turn them into solid gold. So let's have a look. Now I should have more of an idea once I get my influence card. And it's listening for the truth. Now, if you look at this, you know, it's a very simple figure who's kind of almost in the dark, and we were just talking about in the dark. And this is what I love, when you don't script cards and they just sort of come out like this. And if you look, there's also like a little beam of light there, just in the darkness. And she's holding a shell, which is something very natural, very organic. And she's just listening to what's being whispered to her. So maybe the answers that will come in for you, that will provide that light for you, will be whispered in inspiration. It may be from other people, it may be even thoughts coming through, but you know, that light will start to shine. You'll start to have an idea. I like to call that a light bulb moment. Okay, so let's have a look for midweek and see if they give us any more on this. I do like it when cards go together. We have Archangel Metatron. Okay, so at the beginning of the week, got Archangel Uriel being that light, kind of giving you that kind of, as I said, light bulb moment. Then we have Archangel Metatron comes in, good old Metatron. He is very much the motivator of the angels, and not to put it too finely, he's the one who will come around and give you a kick up the backside if he feels you need a bit of a shove in one direction or another. Quite often Archangel Metatron's nudges are none too gentle as well, I've found. The card is Heaven and Earth. Sometimes this card comes in when there's two people who are completely opposites involved in a situation. Okay. Sometimes it's when you need to find your place. Okay, as in, you know, Heaven and Earth, they are completely separate, but they have their place and they kind of go around one another in a way, sort of thing. You know, so sometimes it's just finding your place in the grand order of things, as heaven knows where it belongs, earth knows where it belongs, you know, that kind of thing. You know, there's also, if you look at this, a lot of loose ends, a lot of tangles in this, but there's also green shoots. And there's the colour purple, which is your spirituality, which is listening to your intuition. Okay, and the lovely thing is, purple is also associated with the month of February. So what you are doing now, that light that you are shining now, that motivation that you're receiving now, you may find coming to fruition in that month. Okay, so and it's a case of just kind of tying those loose ends, just seeing where, you know, maybe parts of life have become a little bit unravelled. We've just gone through the festive season, and there's been a lot of indulgences, a lot of people trying to kickstart their health again. You know, so sometimes it does feel like life's unravelled, and sometimes when you've had a load of sugar, your energy dips. If you have a load of alcohol, your energy dips. So it's a case of getting back into that nice healthy kind of stride of things, you know, knotting those ravelling, fraying ends and kind of making your life more complete, weaving it into what you want it to be. Okay, so there's where the motivation is coming in. Let's have a look at the next card. And now they throw me one that takes me completely off course. I shouldn't say that, like I'm almost wishing it to happen. Okay, the perfection of your life. I don't feel they have at all. I feel what that card is saying, and if you look, there's almost like a weaving going on here. There's like that pattern of balance, you know. I'm sure that's got some kind of fancy special name that I don't know. But you also have those lovely trees that represent, they're growing upright and straight and strong, and they're reaching for the heaven, and it's almost like the earth reaching up heavenwards. So again, these cards are really going well together. I'm really impressed. Thank you. So the perfection of your life, it's making your life what you want it to be. It's manifesting what you want. It's bringing everything together. It's taking that motivation. It's tying those loose ends. It's kind of knowing that you can grow towards what you want. You can make it what you want. You don't have to be in the dark. Okay, and it's just a case of maybe listening to yourself and knowing that all that change, maybe it's not change, maybe you don't have to change. We talk about people changing all the time, and sometimes it kind of annoys me a little bit as a spiritualist, because sometimes I think that's not really practicing gratitude, and maybe we should be grateful for what we have. And maybe what needs to be done is we need to acknowledge what we have and acknowledge our strengths, and then kind of utilise those strengths to actually make our lives even better. So maybe it's not a case of changing completely. What they say, if it's not broken, don't throw it out. Maybe it's just a case of going back over what you've got and strengthening that, knowing that is your starting point. Okay, and from that, then you will then attract in everything that you need in your life to make your life perfect. It might not feel perfect to others, but as long as it's perfect for you, and that's the most important thing, and that's where happiness begins. We have Archangel Zadkiel, the angel of emotional healing, and we have forgiveness towards the end of the week. Now, a lot of people get quite angry when the forgiveness card comes out. I've noticed that on page. And they say, I can never forgive, and things like that. And that's fine. No one is asking you. You are not obliged to forgive. But sometimes what you have to realise is when you hold on to a grudge, when you hold on to anger, what you are doing, you are feeding a negative energy within yourself. And that is just attracting more negative energy. So I always say to people, step away. If you really can't forgive, just step away, but forget. Okay? And don't breathe life into it every day, Negative people in your life do not deserve to have your attention. That's really important, okay? And, forgiveness doesn't have to be that you forget everything that person has done as well. Forgiveness can come on different levels. You can remember what they've done, but then realise that by just harping on about it all the time, by just being fixated on it, by pouring all your energy or your hatred into it, it's not doing anything for you. And it means that person who did you a wrong carries on doing you a wrong. And it means not only have they stolen yesterday, but they're also stealing today and tomorrow. So, sometimes with forgiveness, I know it's a very controversial card when it comes up, and I also dread it coming up because I do know it does really upset a lot of people. If someone's done a really bad hurt to you that has broken your heart, if it has cost the life of a loved one, maybe an accident, something like that, no one is expecting you to forget. No one. Okay? But what you owe yourself is a little bit of peace. And what you owe the person you've lost is a little bit of peace. And, so it's that, remember, make things better if you can, campaign to sort of change things if you have to, okay? If somebody has done you another kind of wrong, maybe they've not been the person you want them to be, maybe that you feel betrayed by them, instead of just kind of making it into a war, just step back. Indifference can be the best weapon. Okay, so just remember what I've said, because I feel there's a few of you out there that really need to have this message today. Okay, so I know it's controversial, and I know I'll probably get a few messages, and I'm really sorry about that, and I don't mean any offence when I say it. Okay, it's what the cards come up. And as I said, Archangel Zadkiel is all about emotional healing, and that's for you. Bring it into form. Now, we all know when that card, because we've had that a few times recently, when that card comes up, it's about making something happen. It's about making the steps inwards to what you want, okay? It's about not just thinking about something, but actually taking those steps towards it. And if those steps towards it are forgiving, okay, in whatever way feels right for you. And that's the thing with forgiveness. I think it's intuitive. Okay, so you know, if it's something that you have to remember but not be with that person, fine. If it's something you have to remember, you have to do something about it. And I don't mean revenge there, okay? I mean, as I said, you know, if maybe somebody did something that caused an accident, maybe you want to bring about better safety procedures to stop that. Maybe you want to bring about longer sentencing. You know, so it's campaigning to make something right, to right an injustice and doing it with the right intentions. Okay, it's not going out with a club hammer. Okay, so it's about really knowing and listening intuitively and knowing the right steps to take. Okay, that's the first thing. And if you listen to your heart, and the heart is on there, you will always know what steps to take. You will always know the right thing to do. Okay, I'm going to do a recap now. We have Archangel Uriel at the beginning of the week, the Alchemist. Okay, so maybe a bad situation, maybe a situation you're feeling a bit down about, but you have the chance to make this right. You have the chance to change it. Out of every negative, if you look deep enough, you can find a positive and turn the situation around. Listening for the truth. You know, you may be in a dark place, but if you listen, if you allow yourself the space to listen, you will hear the answers. Archangel Metatron, midweek, a little bit of a nudge going on, but as I said, with him, it could be a shove. And, you know, it's about knowing your place, it's about knowing what you want, it's about those loose ends, it's about acknowledging those loose ends and how you're going to bring them about together. For some of you, it may even be about a relationship where two opposites are coming together. Okay, remember that. And February is the month that a lot of these things will come to fruition. Then we have the perfection of your life. Trees, growth, making sure you have the roots, making sure you know exactly where you're aiming for. With the trees, they're aiming for skyward. So it's almost like the heaven and the earth card here, isn't it? It's like the earth is reaching up towards the heaven. Because of the purple on there, you've got spirituality. There may be a time for some of you who are on a more spiritual path to feel really that connection with heaven. Okay, and to really kind of ground yourself and get roots in your spirituality. And as you ground yourself, it's almost like your chakras are like a circle. Okay, it's like a loop of energy. And as the more you ground yourself, the more the energy flows around, and the more you find your crown becoming more receptive to what's flowing in. Okay, so it's like lovely. It's like I don't know. I'm no good at electrics, but it's like a battery kind of what do they call it? A battery circuit. And it's kind of keeping that loop flowing, okay? And that's the same as the chakras. Okay, so then we have Archangel Zadkiel, end of the week, Angel of Emotional Healing. Whatever you're going to be doing, those steps that you're going to be taking, and that's what they're all about. You know, forgiveness isn't about the other person. Forgiveness is about what you feel inside you. It's about being liberated. It's about being freed from a heavy, repressive energy that you've been dragging around. Bring it into form. You take those steps and only you can do it. Okay, and you can do it. And spirit are with you. Your loved ones are with you, spirits with you, your guides are with you. You've got all those lovely, I mean, they almost look like little souls floating around, and that almost looks like a spirit step, a footstep. Okay, so just remember that you're not alone. You can do this, but this is for your benefit, to enhance your life. Okay, got to the end of this reading. Thank you for bearing with me. It's always a pleasure to read for you. We'll be sorting out some things on page this week. I'm just sort of full on all batteries now, so yes, good. Oh, she says. Okay, love to you all. Bye.